11 and a half hours, 35 miles. He said, I don't want you to have any other reservation without understanding there's a strategy God gave the set man to help you get beyond your limitations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know we ain't gonna clap on that because we ain't accustomed to that. You know, we take the Constitution to heart. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is what we live. You know, we got our personal space. But according to this, if we're going to be fitly framed together, he said you can't shout when you want to.
That's right.
You can't open your mouth when you want to. And the only word that should come out is after I give you the sign. Does that mean control? No. It means that what we need to do to advance the kingdom is more important of your personal preferences.
Yes.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than your comfort zone. If we want the walls to come down, there's some necessary things. I'm talking about being fitly framed together. You know, can you imagine going 35 miles with nobody saying nothing? You know, people they probably say, I just got a text from Bobo. Come on now. You know, the wife just sent me a text. Come on. Put it in real time. Looking at their phone, getting screenshots. Right, or the shoes are killing me. It's a long walk. Can I drive? Right. We can conjure up all kind of stuff because it's putting a demand on your physical body.
Yes.
And the soul gets active when it's doing things that's uncomfortable. And it will jerk out a sound or a response that come up out of you that you never knew that was in you.
Yes.
But he's told us specifically, this is the strategy.
Yes.
This is what we need to do. This is because it's not about you. You know, it's about what the Lord has said concerning us. This is powerful. 15. And it came to pass on the seventh day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, where the preacher encompassed the city after the same manner, even 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times, a total of 13. And it came to pass, verse 16, at the 7th time when the priest blew with the trumpet, Joshua said to the people, now shout. I know you got something to say. Say it. Am I right? For the Lord has given you the city. We don't like that. You know, that's one fruit of the Spirit. We don't want no temperance. We don't want to be able to be in sync with what the vision is and what God is saying to us as a collective body, because we're so individualistically inclined. We're going to talk about them symptomatic things that kind of hurts us, and we try to figure out why the church ain't advancing and why things are not moving and why we read these great things, these prophetic destinies that are spoken over the church, but it's going to take a collective consciousness. It was the first church when they came, the church in the wilderness, when they came out of Egypt, he brought them out together harnessed. Exodus 13 and 18 said he had to harness them. Now, mind you, when he harnessed them, it was a mixed multitude. But if God's going to do anything, it's always going to be a collective consciousness. Am I right? Yes. When he brought them out collectively. Yes. Yes. The first century church, we read over there, you know, having all things in common. What happened? They began to be of one accord. Of course, Pentecost came. And then they started going from house to house. And they, so they had a level of a community, and they was in solidarity, right? Yeah. And then things happen, and we got to get to the point to understand that's what the Father is bringing us into. At verse 20, and we'll lead this one along. It says, so the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpet, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, the people shouted with what? The great shout that the wall what? Actually fell down. The wall went flat. Take it, it went flat. And then when it went flat, what happened? The people went up. They ascended into the city. Every man straight before him, and they took the city. Every man. Nobody can complain, you know what, man, no, I'm done with this. It's 35 miles, man. All this dust and this smoke. Because you can put 3 chariots on those walls. You know, after all that, you probably come up with all kind of excuses. Man, I'm tired. This church service is long. Pastor got all this stuff going on, Greek, Hebrew, and all this other stuff. I ain't really feeling all that. No, every man went straight. So we need some people. And can I help you? The word straight is not the English word straight. This word is asher. It means blessed.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on. You mean it's a blessing when we get things straight? Yes. Yeah. You get some things straight, blessing shows up. Every man, not just Joshua, not just the priest with the 7 horns, ram's horn, not just the armed men. Every man, every person, not just the preacher, not just the deacons, not just the elders, the H team, not just people who've been anointed, not just people who've been here 20 years, I'm talking about every man. From the least to the greatest. I told you that's the best. We got the best opportunity.
Yes.
Greatest opportunity out of everything that's in the earth as it relates to our faith is that from the least to the greatest or the greatest to the least, we have the same opportunity. Every man. Each and every one of us. I don't know about you, but I got some walls that need to come down.
Amen. Yes, sir.
I'm just saying. And I'm ready to go up.
Yes.
You know anything about going up? It ain't just going up in direction. That's going up in dimension. That's going up in authority and power. It's a person that's leaving their past behind. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go up. I know we got a whole contingency of the church waiting on the rapture so they can go up. And I'm talking about a whole other go up.
Yes. Amen.
Go up higher. Being able to discern the things of the Spirit. But this is going to be done collectively. Nobody left behind. No brain left behind. No. Each and every one of us. That's what we want to do. I'm going to give you one more other story. Then I'm going to talk about why we can't do these things. Because, I mean, come on. We leave churches over stuff like that. Come on. No, I ain't going over. That man said I can't do this. That man said I can't do that. Yeah, just too many rules and regulations. No. Just order. See, rules and regulations seem like control when your heart ain't in it.
Right. That's right.
It's order.
Yes.
And let me just help you out. According to Isaiah 9, 6, and 7, when we use it on little cards on Christmas, of the increase of his government, we like to put that out there. Say it, doesn't say it. You want to send it out to the neighbors and send it out to the family. And I'm here to tell you, but it talks about the increase of his government. And he said, when that government shows up, he said he's going to structure it and order it with justice and judgment. You can't escape getting things right when the kingdom is in the house. Maybe a pastoral church, you can get away with it. Come and go as you like, but not an apostolic kingdom church. That doesn't happen. Well, I know. It's a bitter pill to swallow. Can I give you one more story? That was pretty quick, painless, right? I got done in 12 minutes. Can I give you another one? All right, Judges. Let's look at Judges. Y'all familiar with this dude too? Gideon. Remember him? Jerubbaal. They changed his name. Gideon. Anybody remember Gideon? The fleece man. He had no courage to believe God for certain things, so he had to put a fleece out twice. If you for me, God, make this fleece. And he tried to fleece God and everything, but yeah, he tried to fleece God. That's what we do when you don't know God. You put out fleeces. But I like it because the Midianites and some of the Amalekites and the Midianites always was a thorn in their flesh. And Gideon was chosen as the least in his house. And he was the least of the tribes, number one, and he said, I'm the least in my father's house, so he was an underdog. So the underdog had a strategy. What happened one day, he was going up against the tribe of the Midianites, and the Midianites were getting ready to ransack them because they had to even hide. They had to hide their barley in the wine press. You find that in chapter 5. So every time they would have a harvest, they would have to hide the harvest because the Midianites would come and get it. Boy, I can preach that one too. If you knew what Midianite stands for, contention and strife. See, that's what happens when when contention and strife come. You gotta hide things and stuff like that. Yeah. He had to be in a wine press, so we'll talk about that later. But let's go to Judges 7 and 15. And I'm going to bring you right after the dream that the Midianite had. He had a dream that the barley came into the tent and destroyed him. It was the type of shadow of what actually happened. It was God gave him a dream to let him know that Gideon was on his way. 15, and it was so when Gideon heard the what? The telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he did what?
Worship.
He worshiped. And he returned to the host of Israel and said, what? Arise, for the Lord has delivered into your hand the host of Midian. God allowed him to eavesdrop, to hear not only a dream, but the interpretation of the dream. And you see what happened to him? Something supernatural like that caused him to do what? Worship. Right? He worshiped. And then he returned to the host of Israel and said, arise, for the Lord has delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided what? The 300 men into what? 3 companies. And he put a trumpet in what? Every man's hand with what? Empty pitchers. And what? Lamps with pitchers. Right? So there was pitchers that had lamps. Right? And he said to them, look on me and do what? Do likewise. And behold, when I come to the what? Outside of the camp, it should be that as I do, so shall you do.
Yeah.
We can stay right here. We'll leave it alone. Right? That's what he said. He said, look at verse 17, look on me and do likewise. Whatever you see me do, you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So you need an example. That's what Paul told Timothy over in Philippians 4 and 9. Right? He told him to follow my example. He told the Corinthian church, follow me as I follow Christ. So you need an example.
Yes.
You need somebody to be where you have never gone.
Yeah.
Am I right? He said, do as I do. Then he said, when I blow with the trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow you the trumpets. Also on every side of the camp, and say, the sword of the Lord in Gideon. He didn't allow them to have their own interpretation. He said, listen, this is what you're going to tell. In 3 camps of 100, this is what you're going to say, the sword of the Lord and Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him, because there's other 2 camps, right? Of 100, 300 in total, came into the outside camp in the beginning of the middle watch. And they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets, and they what? Broke the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets, and what? Broke the pitchers, and what? And held the lamps in their left hand, and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal. And they cried the what? Sword of the Lord and the Gideon. So he and his 100, and then the 200, the 2 other camps, did the same thing what he did. That's why it seemed like it's a repeat. So whatever he did, they did. That's why he told them, say, whatever you see me do, you do likewise. Stay focused on what I'm doing. So to make sure that you can be in agreement with what I'm going to do. Right? But look at this. And they stood, verse 21, and every man in his what? Place. Round about the camp. And all the hosts did what? They ran. They took off. They cried. They fled. 22, and 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man sword against his fellow, even throughout the host. And the host fell at Bethshittah, and at Zereth, and at the border of Bima Holilah. And so, yeah, I know. And Tabah. See, you got to practice before you get up in the city. Right? But anyhow, all of those different places, they scattered abroad. But they didn't scatter until Gideon said, what you see me do, you do. And the enemy got confused in his camp. They turned on one another. What would happen if church folks stopped turning on one another and said, what we going to do, we're going to take our pitcher and we're going to break it and dash it against the stone. Come on now. And we're going to take the trumpet, which, and I didn't mention this in Joshua 6, but trumpet is also a clear sounding word.